Most people believe a jack of all trades is a master of none, but this is wrong. Here's the plot twist. A jack of all trades isn't a master of none. He's a master of many, starting with one. Let me explain. So a buddy of mine asked me, is it even possible to get good in multiple things? And if not, how do you decide on which one to choose? The short answer is yes. You can achieve as many goals as you want, but you have to use the right strategy. How many times have you tried to learn code, fitness, public speaking, graphic design, and a bunch of other things all at the same time? Personally, I've lost count, but the result is always the same: frustration with slow progress and burnout. If you're multi-passionate, then you can probably relate. But the thing is, when you try to do it all at once, you get nowhere. So if you're like me, your progress looks more like the right side, where you're attacking multiple goals, but your energy is actually being dispersed at the same time. Don't get me wrong, having multiple passions isn't a flaw. It's actually a gift. Because the issue isn't you having multiple interests, it's a lack of focus. Take it from me. I've always had a journal full of hobbies that I wanted to pursue, but I always struggled to turn them into anything meaningful. But once I learned how to focus using the system I'm about to show you, everything changed. I was able to accomplish some of my biggest goals by age 30. Here's just a few examples. I learned strength training and went from low confidence and weak to Greek god physique. I learned how to communicate better and went from socially anxious to meeting my wife and becoming a confident father, and from being a broke personal trainer to landing a tech job with 3 times the income and more free time. I had no coding experience at all, learned it in 6 months, and finally landed that job. But I don't say this to brag, I just say this to show you what's possible when you're focused. I've rambled enough. So how do we actually master multiple interests without losing your mind? It's simple, but not easy. Focus on one thing at a time, because each new skill you learn compounds like a confident snowball to give you momentum for the next habit or skill that you want to pursue. I recommend what's called CAT conditions in order to be successful in building multiple habits. So you want to have curiosity, an obsession for something that you've always gone back to as a kid. So think back to something that you've gravitated towards even when you weren't being told what to do. For me, it was always tinkering and building stuff. So I really enjoyed playing with Legos and building some random car or vehicle that I thought was super cool that looked like something from outer space. So find what that is for you. Second is ability. The thing you find easy when others find it difficult. Ability is important because natural talent will play into your motivation for doing the thing at a high level. This also includes being of service to other people so that they can actually pay you potentially for that talent. And lastly is tolerance. You have to be willing to stick through something in order to get good at it, especially during what I call the dip of death. So what is the dip of death? In Seth Godin's book, The Dip, he describes it as this: the hard part where progress feels non-existent and it's easier to quit, but long-term rewards come from pushing through it. Let's say you start with one interest like we've been talking about. Pursue it for 6 to 12 months. You reach the dip of death and most people quit at that point. But stick with it long enough and you reach creative breakthroughs to surpass everyone else that quit long before you. Once you start with one interest, deciding on which one to pick, and then you can choose to either continue or quit if it's not for you, right? If you did continue, you can pursue mastery by trying to get better at that interest for another set period, or you can pursue a new interest altogether if you feel like you're happy with the progress you've made. And we'll talk about dabbling in a minute. I'm about to share with you the 5-step system that I use to handle all of these interests, but this is like the roadmap. So take a screenshot if you'd like. I also have it in my newsletter. Let's get into the approach. The first thing you want to do is choose your best weapon. What does that mean? It's just choosing the interest that's going to make everything else easier. Think of it as leverage. You're going to get that much more confident when you're pursuing the next one. For me, my core habit was meditation. It helped me to make clear decisions without stressing out over the little things. So instead of burning out so often, I was able to recognize when I was slipping into old habits and maybe trying to take on too much or get frustrated when I wasn't making any progress. So if you don't know what to choose, I'd start with meditation as a core habit, but just pick whatever's relevant for you right now, whatever gives you the most energy, and keep the cat conditions in mind. Number 2 is to pick a skill stack timeline. So earlier I showed you the benefits of focus, but if you're like me, you might pick a few things to work on, and that's okay. If you're gonna pick up to 3 things, then I would structure it in this way. So pick 1 skill, habit, and interest. When you pick a skill, this is something that makes you money. I would focus on it for 6 to 12 months to make sure you're getting really good at it and developing a level of proficiency that's going to allow you to see good results. So for example, I learned coding and that landed me a job, allowed me to increase my income by 3 times and with more flexibility. So this could be something like copywriting, marketing, writing in general, public speaking, sales, anything that fits your interest in your lifestyle. So next, choose 1 habit that makes everything else easier. Like I said before, meditation was the one for me. For you, it could be exercise to double your energy, or it could be a better diet for the same reason, or to lose weight because you want more confidence in your body. 3 to 6 months is a good timeline to establish that habit. And last, I'd recommend something energizing like an interest. Pursue it for 1 to 3 months. This is a good time frame for allowing you to see if the interest is something you want to pursue long term. So an interest is something like music, art, or a new hobby that you want to take up. Remember that you're better off choosing 1 thing and then analyzing where you're at after that timeline. If I were you, I'd start with the interest, pursue it for 1 to 3 months, and decide if you want to make it a habit or even a skill to pursue longer to master. Step 3 is to set your difficulty level. So if you want to keep consistency, the most important thing for sticking with a goal, make it hard to fail. That's why you should include these thresholds when you're setting up a goal. This helps you stay consistent and motivated. So start with a minimal effort goal, set an ideal target, and then have a stretch goal. Here's why these work. A minimal effort makes it too easy not to do it. I don't care how busy you are, I feel like anyone can meditate for 2 minutes. Even if the world's on fire around you, sitting for 2 minutes can help you to regain composure and make better decisions that aren't emotionally charged. Your ideal target, for example, can be like 10 minutes of meditation. But the thing is, when your car's broken down or your kids are sick, 10 minutes feels like 10 hours. So that's where the minimal goal comes in. But your ideal target, you'll aim to hit that on a regular basis. The minimal effort goal is like your insurance policy to make sure that you're not skipping on these goals and then having to restart all over again. And on days when you're feeling fired up, go for a stretch goal. This could be something like 20 minutes or more of meditation. Just be sure not to overdo this, because if you go so hard on a goal one day, the next few days you'll have to recover from the energy that you poured into it. So use these lightly. Number 4 is dabbling, or play without pressure. So you might have been asking all this time, what about my other interests? Do I have to completely ignore them and drop them? Not at all. That's where dabbling comes in. I like to set aside 1 to 2 hours a day or a bigger chunk of time on the weekends to dabble in my other interests. This is like a creative sandbox for you to keep your interest in that thing alive without overcommitting to it. Don't expect mastery here, just have fun and explore that interest. This keeps your energy high and prevents burnout while you dedicate most of your energy to that main goal. Here's an example. This is what a typical day looks like for me. I do 10 minutes of meditation in the morning. I do 2 hours of deep work, which is usually my code work. I take a break and then I have my meeting outside so I can get some fresh air. I do 20 to 35 minutes of training for my body. And then I do a 90-minute deep work session again for maybe some writing, a YouTube script, or more work if I need to. Then I'll have my first meal break. This is around noon. And lastly, I'll end my day with learning time, any admin work I might need, and then I do that creative play block that we just talked about. So this takes me till about 3 p.m. So afterwards, I can do my creative dabbling. I think this is a perfect balance for most people. So that way you're balancing work with play. If you have a 9 to 5 where you work till 6 p.m. or 7, just push your creative time till afterwards. And the last step is the focus fix. I love this step because It's helped me to regain my attention from distractions and really know when my attention is waning and my energy is going down. So I used to be heavily addicted to social media, but now after about 2 decades, I finally feel like I have a really good handle on it. So I created a guide down below called the Focus Fix, where many creators and parents like myself are able to get a handle on the distractions. You can check that out if you're interested. So like we discussed, everything really starts with focus. If you want to rewire your brain, it all starts with awareness of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And that includes getting good at the things that you care about. But this is only when you manage your energy well and you take the right approach. I know this sounds cliche, but with the right mindset, you feel limitless. So just a quick recap, here is the 5-step system and gamified approach to mastering multiple interests in 6 to 12 months. Choose your best weapon, pick a skill stack timeline, set your daily difficulty level, dabble and play without pressure, and use the Focus Fix anti-distraction toolkit. So hopefully you got some value out of this video. Subscribe if you're not already, and leave a comment and let me know what you thought about the video. I'm trying to get better at these. Yeah, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.